ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਚ ਕੇ ਰਹੀ ਨੀ ਤੂੰ ਹੁਣੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਹੋਈ ਮੁਟਿਆਰ ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਚ ਕੇ ਰਹੀ ਨੀ ਤੂੰ ਹੁਣੇ ਹੁਣੇ ਹੋਈ ਮੁਟਿਆਰ ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਚ ਕੇ ਰਹੀ बहार मुंडिया तो बच के रही नी तू हुणे हुणे होई मुटियार मुंडिया तो बच के रही नी तू हुणे हुणे होई मुटियार मुंडिया तो बच के रही कर दी जवानी तेरा रूप ठाठा मारदा पतला जलक ना हुनारा भी सहारदा
Hello. Hey, thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, podcast fans of all ages. Welcome to the Political Deep Dive. I'm Dave Valente, joined tonight by Joe Solosky with the exclamation point.
In the flesh, I'm here.
Not too much flesh, though.
Not too much flesh.
Not too much.
Little. Very little.
For
the sake of your listeners.
There's some flesh. All right. Also, AJ, how you doing?
I'm fan-damtastic. How are y'all?
I'm doing great. I love your shirt. That is awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And Dan, the man Fishman. Dan, what is going on, brother?
I am celebrating a Bears win. It's been a
cardiac Bears, man.
It was pretty crazy. 3 in a row.
Well, I tell you what, Dan, your Bears have something going this year. I mean, everybody underestimated them, and here they are. And
yeah,
I tell you what, I watch your Bears and cheer, and then I watch my Steelers. I don't know what team's showing up this week. They might be great. They might be horrible.
It's great.
Well, and especially with Warren going out, it's going to be an interesting. I don't know how bad he's hurt, and Rodgers, right? But just also to clarify, I am actually a long-suffering Cowboys fan.
Don't make me hate you. Don't make me hate you.
I mean, dude, there's nothing to hate. The Cowboys have been so pathetic for so many years now.
I mean, the Giants are the opposite of the Bears right now. They can't hold a lead in the fourth quarter. And they've lost. I mean, if the Giants had held the lead in every game they've had a lead in the fourth quarter, they would be over 500. They would be a playoff team at this point.
Yeah.
They lost the lead to the Cowboys, lost the lead to the Bears, the Packers, the Denver Broncos. I mean, it's just been one ball punch after another.
It has. And just to clarify, it's my wife who is the Bears, all sports Chicago. So she's also having a really great hockey year. And we have watched more Blackhawks games this year than I would say almost any year past. I think we've watched 10 games, which is a lot for the season being this young. But anyway, so that's how I'm doing. I'm doing well, and I'm ready to talk about future politics.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment. But there's been some
unfortunately, we have to discuss current politics. No!
Yeah, funny. Well, there's been some funny news this week, and then there's been some sad news. I know for everybody in the libertarian circles. An activist from Illinois, Ian Peake, passed away this week. I know last week we talked about if you are having issues, please, 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 for the love of God, talk to somebody. Reach out to me. Reach out to 988 is the National Suicide Hotline.
Yes.
Please reach out to
Yes.
somebody. Don't swallow what is happening in your life and think that nobody cares, because, man, I think John Phillips said it the best. I'd rather talk to you at your lowest moment than to read about it.
Absolutely. We're all here for you. We all want to hear from you. We all want to be there and
Thank you, Janice.
prop you up.
And the other thing is, there is nothing under the sun that somebody else hasn't had to go through. And people have had to deal with shame and embarrassment and feeling lost and uncertain and sad and empty. And those are the human experiences. So if you're having a human experience, the best thing you can do is find another human to talk to about it, because chances are there's somebody else out there who's had that same thing. And I can tell you, I have definitely felt low in my life. I have been confused and not sure what to do. Even now, right? I'm beset by questions of what happens at my age. Where am I going to go? What am I going to be doing in 10 years? And those things worry me.
I'm not sure how to contribute to that. I know that, but everything you said just now was right. People are out there for anyone who needs help. I just know that sometimes people who need help either don't reach out or don't want to be reached to, which is so sad. You're all important. You're all valuable. That is what I want to convey more than anything, because without everyone, we all lose. We all lack. We all lose.
Yeah. And I will say,
the sad thing is that, this week we I know that my feed was filled with honors for Ian. He touched a lot of people's lives. He was just a really good, salt of the earth human being. The world is definitely a less beautiful place because someone like him is no longer with us. And we need to, and we were talking about this before we came on the show. There are some people who just who you would never suspect. I mean, I think when we think of suicide, you hear about people like Anthony Bourdain or Robin Williams, and you would never have suspected that level of darkness went through their lives. And it does. It doesn't matter who you are, how you make people laugh, or how happy you seem on the outside. If you're going through something, reach out.
Yep. And
AJ, you said you had a story about Ian.
Yeah, and actually, I think it might be available on YouTube, but don't check yet. We'll check after the show.
Yes.
Ian came to the Tennessee convention in like 2021. And
the year I was there.
Cohen, yes. And Spike Cohen was there and he was speaking. And Ian was a prankster. And he said, Mr. Cohen, we need to know your opinion on birds. And of course, this started the birds aren't real and the birds aren't real chant. And that was one of the biggest conventions in Tennessee because all of the chair drama that happened that year. But that's one of the reasons that Ian was there as well, to support a chair candidate. But he got like 200 libertarians to chant the same fucking thing. Not just funny, not just hilarious, fucking magic.
Yeah.
Yes. So if I find it, I will post it, or I'll send it to Dave so he can post it.
Yeah, I can post it.
Because I don't have a Facebook. Louis has a Facebook.
I love Louis' Facebook.
I love Louis' Facebook.
I
Yes.
don't know why Louis
Louis
doesn't
Gold.
post more pictures of self-licking, though.
Self-licking.
I
It's hard
mean,
to hold the camera while you're, taking care of business.
fair.
Dan shaved his beard when the last of the hostages were released. So yeah,
Exactly.
he's happy.
Yep.
And thank you, Janice. Yes, it is my 23rd wedding anniversary today.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Yeah,
Oh, I saw that online, and I'd like to say
2002.
to you, Dave, a happy anniversary to you.
There you
I
go.
mean, you deserve it. 29 years. I
23.
marvel at people who can get marriage right. I've tried it twice, failed twice, and then I look back and I realize, in spite of all the difficulties and injustices, there was this one common denominator, and he's usually staring back at me in the face. Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
I
think.
I know, Dan, you're kind of in the same boat as me. It's around that same amount of time.
Well, I'm in two different boats though. I did not get married until I was much older. Right, I was 34 years old when I got married.
I was 29. Yeah.
It's funny because my sister, who got married when she was 23, all her friends in Massachusetts are like, "Oh my God, why are you getting married so young?" And all her friends in Texas are like, "Oh my God, why are you getting married so old?" But I think it's very important to recognize and honor all marriages, the ones that last and the ones that don't, because they're all, again, part of the human experience.
Yes.
And, sometimes people are in marriages that they're just terrible. You got to get out.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's, an informative experience of, I'm never going to make that mistake again.
Yep.
And I'm going to recognize people like that when they come into my life and, cut up their Achilles tendons before they can get anywhere near me. All that sort of stuff. On the other hand, I know people who were married for 10 years. And in that time, they did a lot of good work together to try to stay married and try to save the marriage, and that they weren't right for each other. But it doesn't mean that either of them were bad people.
No, I know several couples who got divorced and ended up being like best friends afterwards because they were great compatibility wise as part of being in each other's lives, but the romantic aspect of it, the day-to-day life together aspect of it, didn't work.
Yep.
It happens.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that is part of the learning process with relationships and going into my wife and I were together 3 years before we got married, about 3.5 years before we got married, but that's the learning experience I took from it, is learning, are we compatible to live together? Are we compatible to create budgets and do the day-to-day tasks of being married together?
Yep.
But yeah, everybody has a different path,
envy
and if it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't. As long as you get out, if you're going to get out, and
do the thing right. I mean, I worry sometimes that we celebrate. It seems like we have a bias towards celebrating marriage when we should celebrate marriages that last, when we should celebrate the fact that it really is, we're all just finding our way.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And sometimes,
yes.
Yeah, exactly. And
You know,
sometimes
Dan-
that means that, the best thing is to leave.
because I've seen some people who've been married for like 30 years who are absolutely miserable.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
And they almost like they're living to make each other miserable, and it's like, life is too short for that.
It's so true. It's
right.
so true.
Now, that being said, I think that, the thing that we also learn is that there is something to having kindness in your life and to being able to share that with other people.
Yes.
And whether that's a spouse or a child or a friend or, a relative, whatever it is, I can't remember who said it, but somebody said that a pleasure, when it's shared with another person, it's not multiplicative; it's exponential. And so having 2 people that you could share your pleasure with is really squaring it, and 3 people is cubing it. The more people that you can have around in your life that you can share good things with, the better it is for everybody. And this kind of circles back around to what we're talking about. And I have to,
Hey, Kathy.
make a confession too. I did not know Ian at all. If I ever met him, I don't remember it. But seeing how well he was beloved by people who I know are really capable of that expression of love was meant that he was a good thing. And you do save on shower water. That's a great point, Nick.
Sure.
Yeah. So, future government.
Yeah. Well,
let's talk about
it.
let's talk about Epstein
Trailer
files.
Swift.
Yeah, we've had a interesting.
I just
few
watched
days.
her on CNN.
What?
Yeah, well, yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene,
AKA Trailer Swift.
Taylor Swift.
I'm sorry. My bad.
It feels like she's been visited by all 3 ghosts: the Christmas present, Christmas past, and Christmas future. Because
Y'all.
and I don't trust it.
She
I
found
don't
out.
at all.
No,
Oh,
Trump
trust
told
yourself.
her he would not support her
yeah.
for a Senate run. And she said, motherfucker.
She's an absolute
And then-
actress, and she
Yeah.
goes where the wind blows. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, in many ways, like the current LNC chair. Oh, sorry. But there is something to somebody at least taking the time to apologize and acknowledge the thing. And so I don't believe MGT or whatever she is, MJT.
MTG.
Magic. Yeah, she's Magic the Gathering. I don't believe her sincerity, but I appreciate the fact that she's in a relatively rare breed of Republicans who recognizes I should apologize.
Yeah, I appreciate that part.
Yeah, but I mean, she's still batshit crazy. She's an enemy of liberty, and
what did she apologize for?
I want to comment.
Wait. What did she apologize for?
So she apologized for the rhetoric.
Yeah, she apologized for using hateful speech in her conversation, tweets, stuff like that. Yeah.
Now, I think I don't trust MGT as far as I can throw her, but I love what she's saying and what she's coming out to do. And, I like to think that there's a whole raft of Republicans like her that are finally abandoning the Trump ships, saying, what the fuck has been going on? I look at it this way.
Yes.
Okay. So
Man.
I joined the Republican Party in 1980, 86. I was a member for 40 years. And I just kept watching it decline year after year after year. And when I saw in 2016 that Trump was going to be their imminent nominee, I jumped off that ship in June of 2016, knowing that I could never support them ever again.
Yeah.
And I've never had a regret about that, not for a moment. That's when I joined the Libertarian Party. It was a fun 6-year run before they disintegrated. And
Yeah,
I look back.
Yeah.
I hold the Republican Party to a much higher standard because I was a member of them for 40 years. And the fact that they are such a crapshoot of people that just back Trump, it is easy to just use them for target practice.
So AJ, the mathematician, has pointed out that 1986 to 2016 is only 30 years, Joe. AJ, I think we should give him a slack on the math. But
Well, okay, so I'd just like to say I joined the Republican Party in the year of 20. I joined the party in 1980. So
1980. Right. Okay. Yeah.
I may not.
That is 36
years, but it was definitely 36. And
yeah, 36.
And damn it, thank you for correcting this CPA.
AJ is all about the math business.
Yeah,
so.
I know she is, and I hate you. I hate you for correcting me. Thank you. I love you.
Yeah.
All right.
I
So,
mean,
I think does she get credit for being one of the first rats to jump the ship?
Yes.
Sure.
yeah,
Yes.
I think
Yes,
if you put
she
it
does.
in that context, that's exactly what it is. She is a
Yeah.
rat deserting the ship. She
Yeah.
is not a bird that was on the ship and saw the rats and said, "Jesus, these rats are terrible, but I'm staying."
Yeah, that's Adam Kinzinger. That's
Exactly. No,
Cheney. That's
she's a
those
real rat.
people.
I will say, I saw her on her clip on Bill Maher too, and I have been saying the Jewish space laser thing, and she said, "You know what? That's not what I said. I never said that." She's like, "Go back," and so Bill rolled the tape, and what she said was, she said, "The Rothschilds are using lasers to influence the weather." And then she said, "I didn't know the Rothschilds were Jewish." So,
I
I
know
exactly,
plausible deniability. I don't know.
exactly. Yeah.
But
Well, no, the people who make those distinctions, they're guilty. There is, yeah. I mean, Nick's got it
yeah,
right. Right.
I
It's,
mean,
go ahead.
yeah, I don't like, again, I don't trust her. I think this is all an act because she sees which way the wind's blowing. But I think it does speak to a larger issue within the GOP in that people are, beginning with, Thomas Massey and a few, and it seems to be a lot of other people are starting to say, you know what, we're looking at the cognitive decline of Donald Trump. We're looking at the health decline of Donald Trump. He's going to be gone sooner rather than later, and our conduct now is going to determine our future. And
Yep.
after the ass kicking they got on the week before last at the polls, I think they're making that. I think we should probably distance ourselves from this guy at this point. So
Yep.
that's why I think, when we get to next week, when we're supposed to see the vote on the Epstein files being released,
Yep.
you're going to see a lot of Republicans. I won't be surprised if we get to a veto-proof number when it comes to the people voting for it in the House.
Well,
The Senate is the
I,
question.
I don't think that it actually goes to the Senate at all. It's
Yeah, no,
just
it
the
does.
House.
It does go.
Are
It
you
goes to
sure?
the Senate afterwards. Yeah, goes to the Senate, and then the president will have a be able
Oh,
to sign it.
I don't think that's true, but we can look that up. I think that it's solely in the House's
I've been
purview to do
reading
that.
stories about the having go
Well,
to the Senate.
Okay.
The Senate is the
to,
big question.
to
Yeah.
be honest, y'all, I've been saying don't vote for Republicans for like 5 years. And I don't think that you should now either.
No,
I
no,
don't care how many say, okay, this time around.
Yeah.
they're still. I
They
mean,
didn't
they're
before, and
Yeah.
they've hidden everything for how long, and how many other lives have they destroyed in the meantime?
Yep.
No, Republicans don't get a pass. I don't care what they apologize for. Don't care.
Yep.
yeah. No, and they will suffer for the sins of the last few
Always.
years because of one, they're enabling this guy, Donald Trump, and then they're the way that they've held
Right.
the Epstein files back, they've covered it up. I even think that the Democrats should face some retribution on the fact that
Absolutely.
they've held this shit back too.
Yeah. I mean, so many people. Right. I mean, certainly the Democrats are equally to blame. There is. I would want to point out two things. Nick said, the enemy of my enemy is my enemy. As you guys know, I like to quote Nick on the show. And one of the greatest speeches I ever heard Nick say, and I don't know if this is original to him or not, was, if the enemy of your enemy is your friend, then you have friends who have a lot of enemies. And I've always thought that's a really, really interesting way to look at it. Maybe you want to be friends with the people who don't have enemies, because there are lots of people out there who don't really have enemies, or they have enemies that you're like, those enemies are also my enemies already. And, in this boat, we are certainly talking about the fact that there are, so many Republicans who willfully looked the other way for power.
Yeah, and
Well, okay, let's talk about let's talk about what the fuck's his face in Kentucky, Mitch
Rand
McConnell,
Paul.
right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
snuck a little amendment in the bill to reopen the government against hemp.
Scuttling hemp. Yeah.
Hmm. I wonder what could have influenced him. Maybe it was the $900,000 he received from the alcohol folks, like Jack
Yeah.
Daniels. I mean, love you, Jack
Not just
Daniels,
that,
but really,
but it's not just that. There was another thing put into that bill where the senators who investigated on January 6th are going to get $500,000 each.
$500,000.
Wow.
Yes,
Right. I
because the
did see
law
that.
and order party cannot stand
Yeah.
to be
Being
investigated. They cannot
held to account.
stand to be, I don't know, charged with their crimes. It's a little bit mind-boggling to me.
But it's not. I mean, that wasn't even the biggest story of the week. I mean, we did have. Hey, Carol, we did have the government reopening, but the emails started coming out. The first starting the day that the House voted to reopen, Democrats did a massive dump of Epstein emails.
Oh, the
That
oversight committee.
yeah, the oversight committee the did a massive dump of emails that definitely has Trump in there like 1,200 times in those emails. Then there was another dump of emails later in the week. You know, and one of the emails intimated that does Vladimir Putin, and this is sent by Mark Epstein, the brother of Jeffrey Epstein, does Vladimir Putin have the picture of Trump blowing Bubba, which sent the internet into
A frenzy.
meme generation, and it was beautiful. I was all beautiful, and I shared tons of them, and I know deep in my heart, I know that he didn't blow Bill Clinton, but it was beautiful. It was hilarious, and the memes were fire. So I don't feel bad for sharing them.
Oh, the internet wins for shit like that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but the only way that we, the people, can apparently hold any of these people accountable is through memes.
Through memes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They created this. It's their fault.
Yeah. Let's see. Nick said Lansomab is an anti-Alzheimer's drug that is given infusion and requires regular
Phyllis
MRI
Starwar,
monitoring.
please don't post links in our thing unless you also post check after the show, guys. Because then people click on your shit and they're not watching the show. What are you doing, man?
Killing us. No, that's all
Well,
good.
the nice thing is nobody can click on it if they're watching like full screen.
If they're in the chat, he actually posted it in.
Right. But if you're on the Facebook page, then you can.
Yeah.
But
All right.
Oh,
it is it's definitely worthwhile to
that's gold, Jerry.
follow those
I
links
mean-
because we're gonna post the other links in the chat afterward,
So,
in the thing afterward.
Nick,
too.
I'm wondering if that is in regard to what's going on with Donald Trump, because I think this guy's starting to have more strokes than a PGA
Oh,
golf tournament.
he has
but-
been having those for months. Like,
Yeah.
okay, nurse chats have been
Strokes.
blowing up
Stroke.
since the inauguration. Honestly, we have discussed it. We have talked about his cardiovascular health. We have also discussed his diet playing a big part in plaque in his brain, which, I mean, you can have like those little mini strokes that just slowly eat away at you. That is not uncommon.
Yeah, but
So, absolutely, you're probably right.
AJ, enough talk about me, please.
But yeah, I mean, this week has been chock full of stuff. Of course, the government has reopened. I'm back at work. Still haven't been paid yet, but hopefully that happens.
But that's interesting. Will you get paid all at once?
Well, so from what we're gathering is that there's going to be, we have a paycheck that's coming on Wednesday. That's our normal pay period that
Yeah.
we're ending, and then we're going to get paid a lump sum check for the time that we were out. So essentially two full paychecks and 1 day.
Well,
for
That's awesome.
for my-
That's
the
a
more
big chunk
mo-
of change
the more
to get all
money-
at once.
pay back my bills that I've had
Dave.
to put on forbearance.
Dave, the more money you get from these bastards, the better.
Well, I mean,
Here.
it's
Can I just sign my taxes over to you? That's
was
all I want
awesome.
my taxes to do.
There you go.
Is
The
get,
Dave
is get
tax.
yummy
The
stuff.
Dave
from
I've
the
actually-
Korean. That's
I've actually had that idea, and I know that there was a libertarian that ran for Senate here in West Virginia, Dave Moran who would talk about this as well. In that instead of Congress deciding where your tax dollars go, that instead of you file your taxes, but you actually get to choose which agency you want to fund. So you don't have to.
There's a major charity that works that way. United Way is actually a collection of a whole bunch of different charities. Now, if you go through the books, United Way is actually a terrible charity.
It sure is.
Huge overhead and
too
stuff
much
like
overhead.
that. But the basic idea of we represent all these charities and you pick out where your dollars go, and that's not a bad idea.
It's I mean, I as somebody who does not support war, I'm not going to be checking the box for the Department of Defense. There are so many things that the government does that I think are not necessary, that I wouldn't be choosing those agencies to fund. But yeah, I mean, I think that's, and it would then have a competition within the government to provide the best goods and services to compete for tax dollars.
Right.
Right. So
I've always wished that the government just said, okay, this is the budget, and we're going to say the defense gets 20%. I'd say we're sort of straying into future government already here.
Yeah.
Say, okay, defense gets 20% of the government, and Social Security gets 5% of the government, and nobody wants ice. It's a bunch of British beer drinkers. Sorry. And then whatever people end up contributing, that's what the budget is. So if defense gets 20%, and the American population, everybody contributes $5, then you've got $1.5 billion, and they get 20% of that, so they get $300 million. I hope you're all impressed with my fast math. That idea, the Department of War. I do want to talk briefly though about these extra legal killings of the Venezuelans. And the idea that you see some people making a defense and saying they're in a fast boat. What else could they be doing? So I lived on, so first of all, there's a Tennessee person that's going to say, we have fast boats and we're not going anywhere in them. But I have a...
We're trying to impress the chicks, man.
In Massachusetts on the North Shore, there's a lot of fishing. The lobster boats have races every year because a fast lobster boat means that you can get more traps handled in a day. So fishermen do want really fast boats. It makes a huge difference. More time fishing, less time traveling. Then, as Nick points out, it's still completely illegal. But then the craziest thing about it is that you'll see Republicans say, oh, well, they've been tracking them all the way. They know where they are. You know what? If you could do that, intercept them in American waters. I mean, our territorial waters are ridiculous anyway, right?
Yeah.
200 miles, we claim. Cuba is inside of American territorial waters. But there's no reason to be killing people. There's no reason to be killing people
on the just outside of
Venezuelan in their own country's territorial waters.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely right.
And so, just
question:
go ahead.
If another country had pulled this shit, like we would have gone after them, right?
We faked wars for less.
There was a time
I'm just saying, like, well, I feel like maybe somebody should put us in timeout and take away our shit for a minute, because we can't seem to be trusted with it. And I feel like that's what us in previous times would have done to us now. Am I just...
No, I mean,
it's a little overwhelming existing right now. So I'm just, checking in.
That really is, for me, the shameful thing is that there were a lot of Americans who, I don't believe that just because you don't understand coercion versus persuasion the same way that I do, I don't believe that you're an immoral person. There are lots of people who say we have to use laws to do these things. And I don't agree with them, but I think that I just haven't had a chance to persuade them well enough that they're wrong yet. They haven't encountered, they haven't encountered the right argument yet.
Yeah. But here's the thing with the Venezuela thing.
Yeah.
Is that dead men tell no tales.
Right.
You can accuse these people but you're blowing them up.
Yeah.
And they're dead. And so there's no due process. There's no finding out what they are. These people.
Did you say due process?
We're not going to declare war. We're just going to kill people.
There's nothing about this country that wants due process today.
I know, and that's the damn sin. To me, with the damnedest sin of the Trump administration is the destruction of due process as a fundamental right of people, regardless of where you are in this world. That the government of the United States is not going to destroy you or kill you without the due process of law.
Well, because we stand for that sort of ethical idea. And I posted on Facebook a Mr. Rogers song that he recited when he was trying to get money from Congress back in the 60s to found public television, which is now very seriously under threat. And this song that was sung had in it, sometimes you get really mad and you lose your temper and you lose control, but isn't it wonderful knowing that anytime you want to, you can stop because you control yourself and you don't have to be guided by anger. And I'm getting it wrong, but Mr. Rogers,
it's a beautiful
he also had
the neighborhood.
No, he also had the line, the never trust a big butt and a smile. That girl's poison.
Yep. I think he also, he also was the one who said, "My anaconda don't run deep." So, anyway, but
blasphemy, blasphemy.
We are all
public television fucking raised me.
Yeah. Yeah. We are in this space where so many people don't know how to stop because they've sort of have given into, well, this is just where it is. And this is a problem that you see in sort of cults everywhere. And Pew did a great study on this. And in this case, I'm sort of going to compare it to militant Islam in the secular states compared to the vast majority of Muslims. Most Muslims do not support jihad. They don't support death for apostasy or blasphemy. Apostasy is when you convince somebody to leave their religion. Blasphemy is when you speak speak poorly of a religion. But what Pew found is that you have these hardcores around them, but then you have you have these hardcore people who do believe the extreme, and then you have a circle of people around them who enable them by not speaking against them.
Sure.
And that's what's happened in the United States, is that you see these crazy people out there, but then you see all these people who aren't helping, who aren't speaking out against all the terrible shit that's happening. And it's undeniable.
I think you're seeing it.
Well,
I think
you're
seeing
starting
it
to see it. Yeah.
And I think it's because the bad things are happening is because they didn't speak out until they got into power. And then they saw how they started wielding their power. Now people are starting to speak out against it. And we saw it on the election. We're going to likely see it in 2026 if Trump makes it that long.
I'm guessing, Dave, your wall is similar to mine in that you have Republicans in there who, when you say things, they're like hook, line, and sinker, drunk the Kool-Aid in favor of Trump. And they're like, but this is a problem, right? We have to get rid of all these illegals. They took our jobs and all that bullshit. And I mean, those are the things that I find so demoralizing. And sometimes, we're talking about sort of the weight and mental illness. I often think that I fucked up. I don't know where I fucked up, but for it to get this bad, how did I not do better?
I've actually suffered from that thought as well, in that had I been a better libertarian, had I
Yeah.
been a better spokesperson for the ideas of liberty, uh,
Yep.
could
Yep.
I have converted more people to the ideas that a
Dave,
strong central government is
Dave,
is a bad
Yeah.
thing.
Dave,
Yeah.
you, AJ, me, Dan, every one of us tried to do that. We tried to be that forefront of wonderful liberty. And then you had an organization called Mises do everything they could to undermine us. We couldn't control that.
Well, I think I could have been better in the idea that I think when I was a baby libertarian, I was way more forceful in my rhetoric, and
Yeah.
didn't quite know how to speak to the normies, as we call them, and how to bring them in rather
The
than
laity.
just throwing your president sucks because this, that, and the other, rather than, hey, you know there's going to come a time, as we're now seeing, that the other guys are going to have power, and the power you just vested into, whether it was George W. Bush or Barack Obama or Donald Trump in the first term or Joe Biden, is going to come back to the other side, and they're going to be able to wield it for you. So, and wield it against you, and they're going to make your life progressively work. We've seen things get progressively worse, and more overreach within the government, and more overreach within private companies that now have our data and have control of our lives.
Yeah.
I didn't express that well enough when I was a baby libertarian, and I got better, but by that point it was too late. The Mises had fucked up the party,
Yep.
So
and we are where we're at right now.
the one
You know,
thing I will say on the other side of that is, I sort of had this conversation with my wife when sort of everything really hit the fan, and I was sort of, checking out from the liberty movement. And I said, I've got this overwhelming sense of guilt that if I had somehow been smarter,
no.
I could have solved it. And she
Yeah.
said, your problem isn't that. Your problem is your enormous arrogance that you think that you could have stopped all of this.
Dan,
It's true.
It's 100% right. 100%
I
gotta
right.
love your
talk-
wife. Like,
Yeah.
honestly,
Me
just
too.
I have got to talk here. Dan.
Yeah.
Dan, my man, you are a former LP leader.
Yeah.
You were the man, and we followed you, and we enjoyed your governance as you moved us forward. Now, when I became a candidate, and I watched this, you weren't arrogant. When I watched this arrogant movement called Mises storm through us and take over our party and destroy it, that was arrogance, Dan, not you.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to circle around, and I appreciate those kind words. And I will clarify, executive director isn't really leader. I like to think that I was
Oh,
the
yes, you are.
administrator.
Yes, you are.
I helped to keep the lights on.
It was the Dark Lord.
But
Dan was our Sith Lord. Yes, he was.
the thing that I do like to say is that, and I don't do it a lot, but we talked about this the other day. There's this line in the Gospels where Jesus talks about, if somebody strikes your cheek, you're supposed to turn and give them the other. And the thought that I've always had about that is that it is, in fact, the easiest thing to do, because you don't have to do anything. You just have to and offer the other cheek. And that's such a powerful statement.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And Dan, I'm going to go a step further. And my friend, I know you're Jewish. I love
am.
you, and I respect
Well,
you. You know I'm Christian.
Yep.
I basically had my come to Jesus moment in March of 2010, and it's changed my life forever. People talk about every now and then, what's your favorite Bible verse? What impacted you the most? And they expect certain things, and I always point out John 5:24, where the Lord, this is Jesus talking. He speaks out and he says, very truly I tell you, those who believe in me and believe in the one that sent me have accomplished eternal life, and they will not be judged. I love this. They will not be judged, for they have moved from death unto life. And I listen to that verse and I think, isn't that the best thing for all of us? All of us are forgiven. All of us are forgiven. All of us.
It does come with a catch, right?
No,
you're not all forgiven.
Really. It doesn't at all.
I thought it says that if you accept Jesus, then you're forgiven.
It does say that. You are absolutely right.
Well, it's funny because we were just talking about this in a different space where I was again a different religion. We were talking about sort of the difference between the Quran, the Hadith, and the Fiqh. The Hadith is a collection of stories. It's not the official law. The Quran is the official holy book. The Hadith is sort of the words of the Prophet and other holy people, and then the Fiqh is years of Islamic law ruling on the things, and that's really very different. Tyler Harris posted a picture showing
we should have a hoodie on
based on it's a glad the hoodie's here for this, where we talked about countries where they have a high prevalence of male-female friendship or low prevalence on Facebook. And not surprisingly, the Islamic states have very, very low male and female friendship. And
it's a cultural thing. Yeah.
Well, so it's interesting because the question is, can you distinguish in a secular state the difference between cultural and religion? Because, I think all the Abrahamic religions, and for people who don't know, Abrahamic just means what they refer to as the people of the book, Muslims, Jews, and Christians. They all are bad in their origin, incredibly sexist. There's Orthodox Jews still, women don't get to pray in a minyan. You can only get 10 men, and that's how you get a prayer together. Right. And most of the older Christian religions, women cannot serve in the priesthood.
Yeah.
I know Episcopals have changed around that. And, in Islam and in the Quran, they have a thing where it says that, women are subservient to men. That's just hardcore. Are the Samaritans not Christians? I know that there's a story about there's a story about the Good Samaritan, but
it's a great story.
Yeah. Are the Samaritans Christians? All right, we're gonna have to look that up. But
no, they were not. They were most certainly not, and yet they were there to help and be empathetic.
Interesting. All right, well, that's good to know.
Let's get to our kind of our main topic. Back to our main topic as far as how do we reform the executive branch of the federal government, and we can also talk about election law as well, because I think they do go hand in hand. Like for me, one of the things I think we've lived under with increasing frequency is the idea that the executive branch can do executive orders and they just kind of lay there until the next guy comes in.
Yeah. And you think about that. You think about that, Dave. All those executive orders can be reversed by the next successor. It's kind of silly, but it's a wonderful thing too. And when you look at our current president, all we want is for him to be gone. I don't care if it's because he's dragged out by arrest and handcuffs. Heck, somebody might shoot the darn guy. I at this point, I hate to say it, I really don't care. I just want to see him gone.
Yeah, I mean, Lord knows I don't want him shot. No, I don't want us to go through that. I mean, good God,
Well, well,
I mean,
I-
you
I
want to
could
talk
deal-
about
I could
what
deal
would bring
with
about
the
the second Civil War? That
No,
would be,
it makes him a
could
martyr.
really deal with that very well. Boom, boom, bam,
Yeah,
bam.
I mean, the problem with it is that you know, the only way that you convince people that the emperor has no clothes is for everybody to see it.
and I think we're
And
seeing it.
well, I
People are
mean,
starting to see it. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. That's it. But I think if something had happened along the way, I don't know that anybody would have seen it, and they would have
yeah,
accepted the populism, and it would have lasted. You know, and it's very important too that we not take for granted that things are actually ending.
yeah.
Right?
And
You know, the big Churchill quote, right? This is not the end. This is not even the beginning of the end. It may, however, be the end of the beginning.
Dan, I
yeah.
love you, man. That
But
you nailed it.
I think that the beyond, well, let's just take Trump out of the equation at this point and just go on the general premise of executive orders. Yes, they can be changed by the next guy, but when we talk about the separation of powers of the government, we talk about the legislative branch making the laws, to the judicial branch ruling on the laws, and the executive branch executing the laws. If you are allowing the executive branch to make laws
Right.
without an intervening review, and not even so much a review by the judicial. Right now we're seeing the judiciary being the only one that's really stepping in here, but the Congress for me, if you're going to retain the ability for, and I get there are exigent circumstances where an executive needs an executive order to be able to do certain things, time sensitive things, but those should be reviewed by Congress at the earliest opportunity and given a up or down vote, and to effectuate those as laws. We can't just have Donald Trump throwing up his tariffs or whatever he wants to throw up in an executive order, and just hope that we get to the next president so we can get rid of that executive order, because that, again, they're legislating from the executive branch, and that's not how the executive branch should function.
Right.
And so, yes, we need to get rid of, not, I don't say get rid of the executive order, but at least reform it to the point that if there is an executive order that has been given by the executive branch, that the legislative branch immediately reviews it so that they can say yes or no as to whether this, uh, and you can have requirements that they need to meet within 2 days or 5 days or whatever. I but there needs to be a review like that much is clean, or is clear, when it comes to executive orders. The other thing I think when it comes to the executive is, we've this Congress has abdicated so much of its responsibility.
Yeah.
Whether it's the tariffs issue, whether it's the ability to declare war, we have Congress has really just gelded itself.
Well, and they did it intentionally so that they could appease their master.
Yeah. Well, and not just that, but the executive has really demanded these powers for themselves. They've given us false premises when it comes to the war powers. The Gulf of Tonkin was complete
Yep.
bullshit.
Yep.
But they got the War Powers Act out of that. We talk about the false information that they used to get the second Gulf War going. Um, you know, the
It's
Congress really just has not. Congress needs to have, I don't know how to do it. Whether it's we need to put these into the Constitution as amendments and things like that. That the executive can't strip powers away from Congress.
I mean, right, exactly. I mean, in theory, that's already true, right? The Constitution says that. However, I think that one of the things that I've been thinking about this a fair bit is that there needs to be penalties for criminal misconduct when elected officials act against the people. And a lot of that is happening right now. And I would love if we could see a scenario where we say, you know what? The people who gave ICE these orders, they're criminally liable.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, for civil rights violations. And the problem, of course, is that the
Qualified immunity.
well, not just qualified immunity, but the Supreme Court gave the president a pass, right?
Yep.
Essentially a permanent pass. And so that is something that I do think it would be very interesting. Like I have occasionally thought, if I were going to get back involved, what would I want to do? And I have thought that a constitutional amendment saying that the president can be prosecuted for breaking the law while in office, that would be very interesting.
Yeah. And, you know, it's funny to me because they talk about, well, the president will be hamstrung by continuous prosecutions. And I get that to an extent. But if there's a president that needs to be hamstrung at this point, it's Donald Trump. Like that. Right. And you know, I get that. Well, not every president's going to be like Donald Trump. But the problem is we're kind of, it's not that we're at the bottom of the barrel. We punched through the barrel a long time ago, and we're just digging right now. We've gone way past the bottom of the barrel. And, you know, I think the idea that we have to reform, especially the executive, especially the legislative branches, and make sure that they're more responsible by, for, and of the people. Because I don't want, and we've said this several times in the show, I don't want a Democratic Trump. I don't want us to go into 2028 and say, well, we're just gonna, we're gonna round up all the Republicans and make their lives hell. We're gonna deport them, and we're gonna take revenge.
As much as I want that, I don't actually want it.
No, I mean, I think people are so scared of what's going on with our government right now that they're willing to just take anybody that is not Donald Trump. And that's a scary proposition because you want to be able to vet who the next person is. You want to understand who this next person is. The idea that we would go to at any port in the storm philosophy when it comes to electing our next president is dangerous as fuck. People think that, we get Donald Trump out of there, everything's gonna be sunshine and kittens. Not necessarily. If you have a government that's still just this messed up right now, when we come out to the next president, they're going to spend their first 20 days just writing executive orders to undo the executive orders that Donald Trump did. Yep. And then they're going to put their own executive orders in because they've got that power to do so.
Well, and exactly. The precedent that has been set of taking retribution against your former political enemies.
I did see that, Carol.
Yeah, I also saw that, Carol. I saw that he's been suspended. It was pretty crazy. The interesting question is how much of that is going to happen. And I think the other thing about it is that we have to realize how important it is when we have split houses, when the House is one party and the Senate is another, because then you really do have at least some check on what's happening.
Yeah.
And when the worst is like what we have right now. And I will say, I am shocked that the filibuster has lasted this long.
I will give Senate Republicans props for defending it and I think they made the right conclusion, which was, we're not, and they probably looked at the Tuesday night elections and said, we're not always going to be in power here and keep the filibuster going. But really so much of what has kept the American government going has been essentially a gentleman's agreement. Like they could come out in the next Senate regardless and say, you know what, we're killing the filibuster. We're just going to kill it and
Yeah.
move on.
I mean, they could do it
Uh,
right now.
Yeah, they could do it right now. They can do it in 2 years. If the Democrats take over, they can do it anytime, really. And it's just it's sad to see what what the protections that offers,
Yep.
and some of the greatest moments of hell, even the fake one with Mr. Smith Goes to Washington was just a great moment of learning about your legislative bodies and what a filibuster does and who it protects. Um, you know, Cory Booker's earlier this year. Rand Paul's done
Yeah, a couple.
some on Patriot Act and things like that. We've had some really good ones, and to see that thrown away, I think would be a absolute mistake.
Well, I mean, it is. We talked about this a little bit last week when we talked about future government. Okay, and what I had said is that I want a rule that legislation has to pass with a 75% or an 80% threshold in order to be
Yeah,
enacted,
yeah,
because
absolutely.
otherwise you are talking about a tyranny of the majority.
Yep.
And when I run for president, I'm running under the president veto campaign. I'm going to veto every bill that comes in front of me. And I'm going to make Republicans and Democrats wear the get along shirt so that they have to find a way to communicate, because it used to be that we all strongly felt kinship towards each other as Americans. That, this idea that as my childhood, it was said very commonly, I may not agree with what you have to say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. That has gone with our generation.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
what's crazy about it is that people don't realize how much that is it's not a Republican thing. It is a generational thing, because there are so many Democrats who refuse to allow any speech at all on the issues that they don't want to hear anything about.
Sure.
We just saw the head of the Canadian LGBT organization have to resign because she said that, I don't think that trans people should be allowed to participate in women's sports, that you have to protect women's sports. How did that get to be such a bad thing that you get completely canceled for it?
Well, I mean, you respond to your membership. So if the membership says you got to go, you got to go. Like, I mean, and if that is the will of your body, I get that.
Right.
I don't think I don't think of that as a cancellation, rather than they, they it's not like they're not able to speak ever again. They'll.
But I mean, it is like that in a lot of places. If you were to try to have that opinion on a college campus right now, forget about it. You would be hated, ostracized. People would treat you like shit. All that sort of stuff. No. I mean, depend. Obviously, not at Liberty University, but
well, I mean, look, I've talked to a lot of people that that have gone to Liberty University, and they're not. They're there for the education, but they're not quite. I mean, there are, of course, the true believers that are down with the evangelical line, but there are violations that go on there.
Oh, sure.
It's a college campus.
Yeah,
they're young people, lots of hormones. It's all good.
Yeah, no,
but,
for sure.
I don't know. Carol actually puts up a really good idea for controlling spending line item vetoes. I'm not opposed to line item vetoes at all when it comes to
every governor has line item veto.
Yeah, and most governors have to have a balanced budget. So a balanced budget amendment and a line item veto, absolutely. I'm down for those both. When it comes to other executive, I mean, anything that pulls power away from this current the current makeup of the executive branch right now really needs to be considered.
Well,
Because
except line item veto enhances the power
yeah,
of the
well,
executive branch.
line item even enhances the power, but it's a
It's a
normal
good thing.
executive power. It's a
Well,
normal executive power.
it is, and I mean, the Republicans in 1994 considered it so important that they gave that power to Bill Clinton
Yeah,
while he was being blown by Donald Trump. So
exactly.
uh, that was, I mean, I'm not going to go to that next joke, but I mean, the line item veto is a big thing. And it would be interesting to see. I mean, it was Rudy Giuliani who brought the case to the Supreme Court, saying that
Yeah.
line item veto violated the separation of powers. But in this environment where there are no separation of powers, it would be interesting to see what the court would rule on it if you could somehow get that in front of it again.
Yeah, I would be interested to see if the more conservative court would take it more on would side on
Yeah.
that those powers. I almost think they wouldn't because we're seeing what they're talking about with tariffs. So,
Right.
they're defending the congressional right to lay taxes. So,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. But yeah, I don't mind the line item veto. But I would love to see, the ability for the executive to not only when it comes to executive orders, but the ability to write laws. The great overreach of using the Federal Register,
Yeah.
the U.S. Code and things to write new laws, to broadly interpret something that Congress has passed to give them more authority. I would like to see more checks on that. When it comes to
Also, no giving yourself money.
yeah,
$500,000.
that can go all the way across. I mean, I know that Congress has done that as. I don't know, Joe. Did you fall asleep, man? You may have. I think he did.
I think he did. I think, to be generous, you might want to remove him.
Yeah. All right, hold on a second. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, so yeah, but yeah, I think when it comes to an executive, I would love to just see a technocrat become president at some point. Just somebody who's there to Dan.
Yeah.
President Dan.
You can support my campaign when I run as President Veto.
There you go.
I'm gonna veto everything.
I don't need somebody to rule my life. I don't need somebody to. I don't know what happened to AJ. I think maybe she lost her connection. So
I think when you said that thing, that was what. I'm just kidding. Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah, I will, Brandy. But yeah, it's with when it comes to the executive, winnowing the power from them, winning the ability to make laws, to tax people. These things are important for us to take away from the executive, return it to the legislative branch. When it comes to election law, here's the thing I would love. I know people hate the electoral college. I'm okay with the electoral college. The reform I would do is to institute what they do in Nebraska and Maine, all over the country, which is the state winner wins the 2 electoral votes that you receive for having senators, and then for each district, you get if you win
League of
that
voters they want.
district. Yeah, if you win the district, then your elector for that district is the one that goes to
Right.
vote. And to me, I think that's more representative. That way, you don't have a situation like in California. There really isn't much of a chance for the Republican to ever win the state. It hasn't happened since Reagan or Bush. I'm sorry, Bush won.
Right.
And so,
although Republicans win the governor's race quite a bit,
they win the governor's race because they move themselves closer to the center. And have benefited from some really lousy Democratic governors. The
Right.
same thing with Massachusetts.
Yep.
But There, they would have the ability to take 3, 4, 5 congressional districts from the Democrats, and consequently, the Democrats will be able to take a few congressional districts away from the Republicans in Texas. So I think it better reflects the will of the people. I get the people that are just mad that Wyoming gets 3 electoral votes when they their population of Los Angeles County is bigger than Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana combined. I
Yeah.
get that problem. So
No, I mean it's interesting, but it does. I mean, so I mean there you're sort of that's the electoral college, but it's an interesting question in terms of the idea of a bicameral house in the first place. The idea that Wyoming is as powerful in the Senate as California
yeah,
is
but the Senate
interesting.
was. I mean, the Senate was also founded to be the House of the states.
Right, exactly.
Until the 17th Amendment and the direct election of senators,
Right.
the states chose the senators. The
Yep.
legislatures chose the senators. So, I wouldn't mind going back to that idea that we can we start the states having the direct election of senators, and again the Senate being the House of the states, and then the House of the House of Representatives is the House of the people. I would be much more apt to look at um, you know enhancing the powers of the House versus the Senate because of almost in line with a parliamentary system where the House is the House of Representatives or the Parliament or House of Delegates, wherever you're talking about those the lower houses tend to be the more powerful houses, and then the Senate is generally the house that reviews the laws um, and has limited powers.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I think when it comes to electoral reforms, one, um, we've got to stop this idea that only two parties can represent us.
Right. A
You've got
proportional house
to
would be better.
a proportional house would be better. The idea that the we can limit the number of candidates that appear on debate stages. You can have like 50 of them during a primary debate, but you can only have 2 during the general election debate. It's absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
The idea we need to get more ideas into the electoral sphere. That way, you're not black and white choice between bad and badder. Um,
Yeah.
you can throw your vote behind somebody that is
One of the things
a
that's
little more
crazy to me
acceptable.
about that, when we talk about debate, is how willing the people are to put up with the bullshit. I mean, there's no reason why. Let's just say that there's 10 candidates for a race, that every night 2 different candidates should debate.
Yeah.
And have a moderator and just go through it. And on Monday it's going to be me and Dave, and on Tuesday it's going to be me and Joe, and on Wednesday it's going to be me and AJ, and then on Tuesday it's going to be Dave and Joe, and then Dave and AJ, and then Joe and AJ, until we've gone through sort of one-on-one, and then we could alter some other things about it. The idea that the presidential candidates control the debate is so ass fucking backwards that it's insane, right? Why aren't the people refusing to vote? And I've thought about this as another larger thing. In fact, a friend of ours worked on this thing called the Committee for American Debates.
Yeah.
And I had said to them that what they should do is they should get together money and put together debates for governor in 4 states. Put a lot of money behind it, and then get a lot of celebrities to say, this is it. I don't care who you are. This is America. This is democracy. Everybody should be in the debates. And, if you get McConaughey, and I don't know why he came to mind, but just a whole bunch of celebrities, Otani, and, whoever you want, Caitlin Clark, a bunch of celebrities saying, these are the debates. Please tune in. Please watch. Putting their celebrity power, their power of attention, because attention is the currency of media, the attention that they have behind watching those debates, then the Committee on American Debates would actually be the ones who are running the debates again.
Didn't the Committee on American Debates go under?
Fizzle out. Yes.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the Republican Democrat cabal. That one went under, didn't it?
Oh yeah, but there's a thing called the Committee on American Debates that was started by some libertarians.
Yeah, I remember that, and it got a little bit of traction, but it was 2020 was just a bad time for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if their site is still alive. It's AmericanDebateCommittee.com. Their Facebook page is alive, but their last post is October 2020. So I think they're not there. But that was a really good idea.
Yeah, it is. It is. We need to have debates where not just the red and the blue options are presented, because what we've seen in the last few debates has been essentially character assassinations, dressed up as debates. There's not been a whole lot of substance.
Yeah, I mean,
when it comes to these debates, it's been, vote for me because the other guy's brain dead, or she's a criminal and wants to turn on your kids' trans.
We actually had talked about this briefly. If Gary Johnson had got into the debate, we talked about like what would his strategy be, and I was the dissenting voice in the room when I said so. This is based on an SNL sketch back when Dukakis was running against I can't remember, George Bush, right? Yeah.
Bush
and they
first one. Yeah.
Right. And they talked the SNL said, well, what should the strategy be? The first one said, well, one of the things that George Bush should do is try to emphasize his height because Dukakis is so short. And so when they reach for a handshake, he should reach out and pat him on the head. And I thought, you know what? What if Gary Johnson were to ruffle Trump's hair?
Oh, God.
It would have been great. I mean, that would be, among the other failed things that the candidates that the Johnson campaign didn't do was we had a commercial set up where Gary was going to run to the top of the stairs of the Philadelphia Art Museum, like Rocky famously did.
Yeah.
And we'd time him. And we talked about it, and Gary was like, "Oh yeah, I could totally do it in under 30 seconds," which is pretty. And that's that's a good time.
Yeah, he's phenomenal shape. Yeah,
he was in phenomenal shape, and that's 30 seconds is an important number for a media commercial. Yeah. And so we just have him, and somebody talking up at the top, while Gary runs up on a clock at the bottom, and he says, "I'm here to say that I'm fit to serve as president of the United States. I challenge Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump to do it in 3 times as long."
To do it at all. I mean, honestly, I think Donald Trump at that point probably could have gotten up the stairs just walking.
Yeah,
Hillary was having problems. Yeah, Hillary was having problems during that election, but I mean, they're but we need more voices. Like this can't be. And I think when you get done with these debates, when you're watching them, this can't be the best and brightest of ideas that we have when it comes to running the government, and it never is. It's like I said, we're getting to the point where it's just essentially character assassinations with a little bit of policy here and there. Yeah,
I will say so. First to Janice, if you haven't seen Dirt, I think that's McConaughey's best film.
Dazed and Confused. I love that movie.
I love the movie. Such a
good movie.
I love
such a good soundtrack.
It's an amazing soundtrack. It is a little problematic now. Some of the stuff
it is, it is.
But it's a great film. I agree with that 100%.
Just like Revenge of the Nerds is problematic.
Exactly.
Now,
You're right. Exactly. Yeah. That's a good point. All right. So we probably should do the quiz before we.
I think we should do
much on this.
Yeah. All right. Let's see the 5-thing news quiz. Let me hide the chat right quick. Continue chatting, and we'll share as we go along. But 5 things news quiz from November 14th, 2025. Lots of good things happened this week. Lots of weird things happened this week, and we'll talk about it. So here is our context clues. Donald Trump signing the bill to reopen the government. the Kennedy's great grandson, Schlossberg.
I have no idea what that is.
And then looks like people walking around on stilts. All right. Things that happened yesterday and today are not on this quiz and probably early or late Friday. So,
Yeah.
All right. Question number 1. Which coin was minted for the last time this week? Yeah, this is a story. Quite honestly, I agree with this one. But yeah, the penny, last one was minted in Philadelphia this week. That's crazy to think about.
What's interesting, I mean, we still use it though. We're still going to be using 1 cent as a currency, and so it's interesting. Somebody was telling me they had an experience where, they were supposed to get 3 cents in change, and they said we rounded it up to a nickel. It's not quite that far yet, but it's interesting.
Yeah, eventually everything, how Walmart has everything at the 8s on their prices. I mean, are we going to? I mean, with electronic currency, can you still do the 3 cents? I mean, they're not taking it out of circulation; it's still in circulation. They're just not making more of it. So,
right.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it is a waste at this point.
Yeah, but like everything that Trump does, it's a non-story.
Yeah,
it's up. Like I mean, I have it on pretty good authority that Trump is going to, through executive order, end daylight savings time in the spring.
That would be nice.
It would be nice, but it's totally a Trump thing to do because it's completely bullshit, and it makes it seem like he really did something amazing when really it's something that other people have been talking about for forever.
Yeah,
and it just makes sense.
But the problem I would say with that is that it again sells the idea that the executive can legislate. This is a failure of the legislative body to do what it should do, what it should have done a long time ago. All right, question number 2. The U.S. government reopened on Wednesday after a bitter funding standoff. How long did the shutdown last? 9 days, 13 days, 28 days, or 43 days?
Yeah. Now, it's interesting because, I mean, it was 43 days, of course. But people talk about that as being a really long time. But in fact, there's been a longer sort of paralyzation of government. And it's important for us to remember that in our history. The filibuster against the Civil Rights Bill lasted 60 days. Just remember that there are a lot of assholes who were willing to essentially block the government from doing anything.
Yeah, I mean, but that didn't require that nobody got paid.
Didn't stop paychecks going out. I mean, this is back in the time when the country was unbelievably solvent, right?
Sure.
There's no debt. The government. Yeah. What do you mean the government wouldn't have enough money to pay its bills? We don't understand what that means.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't have to update the credit line for the government. Yeah.
Right. Well, and as a matter of fact, actually, I'm reading now that it was impossible for the government to shut down until after the Congressional Budget and Impoundment Control Act of 1974. So
there you go. Yeah, I mean, we're one of the few governments that could do this. If we're the only government that can do this, I mean, I know that we've had issues like Belgium had gone like almost a year and a half at one point without a functioning government because they couldn't the parties couldn't decide on how to split up after the vote. And so Belgium went a long time, but I don't think government workers didn't get shafted during that. It was just that there wasn't any legislation going on.
Right,
Which
exactly.
I'd be okay with that. We just no one's in control. Just leave me alone for a couple of years. God damn.
And legislation, exactly.
Yeah,
Dave
leave
just
me the hell
wants 10
alone.
more years in the office.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Question number 3. Which natural phenomenon lit up the sky this week, creating colorful displays visible across the world, except for where I fucking live, because I will never see the Northern Lights, but it is the Northern Lights.
You'll never see the Northern Lights in Virginia, West Virginia.
Oh, there were, my friend in Tennessee had them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Huh.
They were down in Texas. People in Texas could see them. Yeah. I mean,
I didn't see them.
Yeah. Very,
But in this
very
case, it
salty
actually
about
this is not referring to the Northern Lights. This is JD Vance was lighting farts from the
And
Naval Observatory.
did you see that scene from South Park?
I don't think I did.
Oh, Trump and JD Vance going at it. It was disturbing.
A recent one?
Yeah, this week's South
I haven't
Park.
seen it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Northern Lights was the reason why every time that we've had the Northern Lights go this far south, I've had cloud cover. Like, it's just like you go out and sort of like, I can't see the stars. There's nothing going on. So
Interesting.
Yeah. Damn you. All right, question number 4. United States State Department issued an unusual warning to Americans in Japan this week. Which of the following were they told to watch out for?
Godzilla!
Godzilla!
Sorry.
Yeah. Bears, leopards, tigers, or sharks?
Oh my. It must be sharks,
my.
right? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, it can't
bears
be tigers.
Could be. It could be bears.
It can't be tigers, right? Tigers are only in India. I mean, and
Brady says bears. The bears.
the bears. All right.
The bears.
Let's vote for bears.
Correct. The
All
State
right.
Department issued a wildlife alert warning that bear sightings and attacks have increased in the parts of northern Japan. I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand how long Japan is as a country. Like from north to south is incredibly long and incredibly biodiverse.
Yeah. I mean, you have the snow monkeys of Hokkaido, right? Famous. And then, other places. Yeah, it's a wide variety.
Yeah. Janice got it as well. Right on. All right, question number 5. Which type of baby product was recently recalled across the United States? Babies? No. Pacifiers, formula, diapers, or wipes?
My understanding is that the only product of babies is baby poop.
Poop. Yeah, that's true.
It would be nice if they could recall that. I have no idea. No idea.
Yeah, I don't either. Oh, that is scary. Formula. So formula, yeah. I mean, not. I think a lot of people were like, well, that's why we breastfed and all that stuff. Not all women produce enough milk for children.
Yep.
So formula is a supplement. So yes, very, very.
I will say, we talked earlier about my capacity for self-flagellation. At one point in time, I was thinking about what a terrible world we live in, that baby formula is kept locked up because so many people are stealing it because they need to feed their babies.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned that to somebody, and they're like, no. People are stealing it because they cut cocaine with it and other drugs. It's not because of,
No.
there's a shortage for mothers getting it. Like any mother anywhere can go into any church or anything else and say, hey, I need formula.
That's interesting because there was a very popular TikTok this week that came out towards the end of the shutdown, and it was a woman calling
I saw
multiple churches, some synagogues, and some mosques looking for she indicated that she was a single mother of 1 or 2 children and needed baby formula. Mosques helped out, the synagogues helped out, but the Christian churches
only 27%.
Shockingly low percentage of Christian churches, including Joel Osteen's and some of the other churches, did not help out. So that's sad. It's a sad statement. I don't think cutting cocaine is why formula is
100%. Like I used to work at Stop and Shop, and I was talking to a friend who's still a manager there. He's like, yeah, it's the tweakers. The tweakers steal baby formula all the time if it's not locked up.
That's weird.
It is weird.
All right. Question number 6. Which country launched a massive mobilization of military personnel in response to the buildup of U.S. warships in the region? Somalia, China, Russia, or Venezuela?
This is Venezuela. Venezuela.
Black churches. Yeah, that's right. The black churches were the ones, the Christian churches that helped out. But yeah, Venezuela. What are your thoughts? Do you think that we actually go in?
No. I
I
mean,
I
it
I
depends on
think
how
it.
bad it depends on how bad the Epstein files are.
Yeah, I do.
Uh,
I think there is a serious wag the dog possibility here.
but I mean, it would be crazy. Venezuela, what are they going to do? They can't fight at all.
No, but I mean, when people say, what the U.S. military can do whatever they want, I usually respond with laughs and Taliban, because how long were we in Afghanistan?
Right. Well, I
Um,
mean, it's so that it is an interesting question because people used to talk about the fact, a little known military fact is that the United States dropped more bombs on North Vietnam than were dropped in all of World War II by every nation.
Yeah.
And we didn't beat the North Vietnamese.
No, we didn't.
You can't bomb people into submission, or
And
can you? Because our
what
bombs now are very different.
is Donald Trump going to bring back Agent Orange? Like, because the conditions in Venezuela are very much like the conditions in Vietnam. It
I,
is jungle. It is thick.
I honestly, I worry so much. And I'll tell you, this is an interesting thing. Like, I think about this all the time about extremists. And one of the things that I was really worried about in the Gaza conflict was that Israel would employ biological weapons. And I worry that Trump might employ biological weapons.
Which is,
and that is, yeah, just brutal. I mean, it's stupid because biological weapons almost always come back and infect you.
yes,
And secondly, it's just a horrific crime against humanity.
it is.
But
I mean, think of it. Think of how we reacted, and that's the question I had when we got to, when we started pushing around all these countries, is that if we get to a world war, are we the good guys? Are we going to be the good guys? That's the scary thing. Like,
right,
will history remember the United States as being on the right side in the next conflict? I don't know with Donald Trump as president. I don't even know if leading Democrats will be on the right side.
no,
Um, I mean, my hope is they first off, they won't bring us to the precipice of a
right.
global war, but
I think
I
that
don't know.
I think the difference is though that the Democrats would do it for moral reasons that
I would hope so.
it comes in line with their own
There has to be a
morality.
justification.
Right. But I
Yeah.
think that, the Trumpsters, they're just doing it for power. They know that what they're doing
Oh
is
yeah,
morally wrong.
it is
It's
a
terrible, evil
serious
people.
power grab. Yeah. Question number 7. Jack Schlossberg announced he's running for House seat in New York City. Which former president was his grandfather?
Sounds very Jewish.
But was it Ronald Reagan, John F. Kennedy, George H.W. Bush, or Jimmy Carter? And
It's
it is
Kennedy.
a Kennedy.
Yep.
Yeah, Jack Schlossberg, the grandson of former President John F. Kennedy, became JFK's first direct descendant and the latest member of his family to run for elected office. Interesting. I mean,
Yeah. He's Carolyn Kennedy's son, right?
yeah, because she's Schlossberg.
Yeah.
His son likely would have ran for president if he didn't die in the plane accident, but or at least ran for office.
You can believe that he's dead if you want to. But
All right. Well, that was one of the QAnon things, was that uh,
John still alive.
John would ride into the 2020 elections and pick Donald Trump up on a crystal horse, and they'd ride into power. Yeah, that's QAnon.
Yep.
Question number 8: which severe weather event impacted much of the southern U.S. this week?
I know
Oh,
this.
heat wave, flooding, cold snap, or tornadoes?
Cold snap. That's a
Cold
frozen
snap, because
iguana.
that is a frozen iguana that fell out of a tree.
Yeah. It's
Poor
pretty funny.
guys. I feel for them though. Yep. Several parts of the southern U.S. faced some of their coldest early November temperatures in decades, More than 24 cities, reaching as far south as Fort Myers and big old hairy Naples, Florida, uh, toppled or tied daily record lows this week. It was so cold in parts of the Sunshine State that iguanas fell from trees. Poor
Yep.
guys. All right, question number 9. Which type of outbreak is linked to recalled pasta meals sold in major grocery stores this week? Salmonella, Listeria, norovirus, or E. coli?
I don't know this.
Oh, you know what, Mike? This is so interesting
Yeah.
because
I
I'm
think it's E.
choosing.
coli, but go ahead.
No, it's actually so. CNN's having problems with their quiz because I chose this one, which activates the next one because you look at this
Yep.
one, but then it tells you the answer. So
Oh,
it is Listeria. Brandy got it because Brandy is
yep.
the trivia master.
Listeria is also the right Desperate Housewives. Oh, no, that's
No, that's
Wisteria.
Wisteria.
Gotcha. All right.
All right. All right, well, we know this one. Which federal holiday was celebrated in
was
the U.S.
Veterans
this
Day.
week? It was Veterans Day.
We talked about it
Or
last
10
week.
out of 10. We knew that one. But yeah, we got 10 out of 10. Won't even let me choose the last one. So yeah,
Being censored by the government.
yeah. So yeah, it's. I mean, look, I think everyone recognizes that the government that we have right now, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, the
Is non-functional.
anger that moved people to vote Donald Trump into office, the anger that moved people to vote Donald Trump out of office in 2020, the anger that moved people to elect Donald Trump to office in 2016, is showing us that our government just doesn't work. Our government is flawed, fatally flawed at this point, and we need to, when we get to the end of this, whatever is going on, the world that we live in, we get into the end of the Donald Trump era. What kind of government, what kind of world are we turning over to the next person? I don't want them to have the I don't want them to have the powers that Donald Trump had. I don't want them to be the Donald Trump of the left or a continuation of a Donald Trump on the right. I want the next government to I want us to have almost a truth and reconciliation commission where we sit there and talk about what has gone wrong in this country.
Yeah.
Do we need to have a constitutional convention, convention of the states, or whatever you want to call it, to reimagine our government and rebuild it? Because at this point, we're rapidly going to a place where it's not going to end well.
I will say, if we could somehow get to a strict interpretation of the Constitution, that would solve everything. Okay? The federal government has only the powers granted to it in the Constitution. The states do their own things. We could get there somehow, but I don't see the path.
I don't either. I mean, again,
except for the Fishman presidency.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. But yeah, you're right, Brandy. If Newsom runs and wins, there's no change. I mean, it's just that the policies of the left will get stuffed down our throat versus the policies of the right getting, or at least policies of Trump stuffed down our throat. I don't have much hope of, unless we get somebody that is, like I said, a technocrat and wants to come in and just, let's fix things. Let's fix the government, fix how we do things, and return to a government by, for, and of the people. I don't have a whole lot of hope, but if we can get past Donald Trump, I think we can do pretty much anything. So
let's hope so. Fingers crossed.
All right. So I don't know what we're going to do next week. It is the start of Thanksgiving week. So we'll do something on.
Yeah, I'll still be home by then.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll do. What are we thankful for next week? Maybe.
That sounds good.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thanks everybody for joining us. Give us a like, share, subscribe wherever you're watching us from. It helps us out, gets us in front of more people. We're seeing more people join us. So we'd love to see you all back next week on the Political Deep Dive. Have a good one, everybody. Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.